Now, the leadership assessments, again, fascinating because we're looking at a post-pandemic world. It was complex beforehand. People talk about the VUCA world, how fast things are moving. It's not new. If anybody opens another corporate document and says the world is changing, I think I'll lose my mind. Well, guess what? It really is changing now, right? And post-pandemic, there are no rules, right? There's no precedent. We don't know how the world is going to work now. There's so many implications there, economically, politically, from a regulatory point of view. I think it's fair to say a lot of organisations are really struggling with how can they be successful, how can they respond to this new dynamic. How can they build a team that is responsive, that is successful, that can be dynamic? There's an argument that says there's no such thing as a new operating model. There is no operating model anymore. There's an ability to be agile and responsive. Well, for the stakeholder group, how can you be sure that your people have the confidence, the capability, the competence, if you like, to be able to respond to that dynamic? How can you be sure they're going to work as a team, that they're going to work with consensus, and that they're going to be effective? It's really, really challenging. And so, based on all the experience that Kurdi Associates has over all of those years of working with organisations of stature across the globe, and now looking at the new sort of dynamic in the business world, we've created a series of scenarios that enable leaders to really reflect and challenge themselves about the judgments and decisions they might make in those sorts of situations. Not only to provide a level of analytic and measurement for the organisation, but also to enable those individuals to build a level of self-confidence in a psychologically safe environment and practice making different decisions. It's very difficult if you've been a senior leader. You've got to your position of authority and stature in an organisation by developing your own personality, perhaps your own modus operandi, your own way of doing things. And potentially that doesn't work anymore. Potentially that won't work in the new post-pandemic environment. So how can you make those kinds of personal changes? How can you be open to new ideas, new initiatives, new toolkits, new ways of doing things without feeling in some way challenged, without exposing potentially yourself, because you've relied typically on your confidence in making those kinds of decisions?